Holding a Siman Zion Seif. So last week we spoke about kosher or kesher. Now we're going to be speaking about things that have to do with kshara, but not exactly kesher. Let's see Mechaber Seif. Nishbethu loy ritzuas minol. Someone's shoelace fell out. The sandal or a sandal. Nishba roiv haregel. So roiv haregel means, the Mishnah explains it over here. Shmuel says over here in Seif Yud Zayin, Roiv haregel shemin olam shalahem hayasuyim prokim uchabarim ha'idei ritzuos. It was made pieces, and I'm not sure exactly what the Matthias was. They were tied together with strings. And part that was on most of the foot came off, they would have to tie it back together again with ritzuos. Not sure exactly what the case was, but the roiv haregel means they had to go ahead and retie it with another string. So the Mechaber says if it fell out, mutter v'hachzir ha'ritzuos l'mchaimam u'belvad shelo yikshar. You're allowed to put the ritzuos back into their place, as long as you don't tie it, meaning tying it to attach it to the shoe. We're not talking about tying it after you put it on, you tie the shoe. That's mutter. We're talking about to put the ritzuah back in. The way they would leave the ritzuah in the shoe was they had to tie it to make a knot in order that it shouldn't fall out. That already is kesh shachayama. So you're allowed to put the ritzuah in without making that knot to keep it on the shoe. Says the Magen Avram Shla Yikshar, Pirish La Yasa Kesher B'Reishai. You're not allowed to make a knot in the head of it, in the top of it. Shla Yishamet, it shouldn't fall out. Have a Kesher Shakayama, K'mar Shakasafti, Seif Aleph. That knot that you're making is a knot which is a Kesher Shakayama, and therefore you cannot do it. Tying the shoe itself is mutter.
But isn't it an uman? It has nothing to do with uman. It's just a
no, kesh shachayama. Even though it's not uman. Correct. It's not uman. A lot of times they have the pull strings they have on the hoods, right?
Right.
So you make a knot at the end that shouldn't go into the hood.
Right.
That knot is also. That's a kesh shachayama. That's what this case is over here. You put the string in and you make a knot at the end in a way that it shouldn't fall out. So that's a kesh shachayama and it's awesome.
But similar to this case, if that pull string came all the way out, you could string it all the way back
we'll get to that.
And just make it tight?
We'll get to that, we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see if we can do that.
By the strings that they have for pajama pants.
Right, same thing, same idea. You make it out at the end, it shouldn't fall in.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be a kesh shachayama, will be awesome.
Right.
We'll see, we'll get to if you could string it in a second. Here it says the ritzuah you put into a shoe, it's mutter to put it in.
Would this be the same as our shoelaces? If it was still a break,
correct.
You could string the whole thing again.
Right, our shoelaces, the shoelace, yeah.
If there was, let's say, if it was a weird shoelace, it had to be tied in place. You couldn't do that, but you could string it.
They could string it, yes. We'll see in a second. Let's see.
Could you replace the shoelace?
So let's see the Bishop over here. We'll get to the Ramah in a second with the stringing the hoods and stuff. We'll get to that soon. That may be a different issue. But here, let's talk about the shoelace. If you look at the Bishop over here. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Beis Nishbatu, Aval B'min al Chadash, in a new shoe, also Litin Ritzuos b'Shabbos. If it's a new shoe, it never had the Ritzuah inside of it, then you cannot do it on Shabbos. Afilu Anekev Rochav, even if the hole is wide, and you can string it very easily, the Misakin Mana, that's called Misakin Mana, you're making the shoe now. So you have a shoe. There was never a shoelace in the shoe, which is not really shchiach by us, because we buy the shoes with the shoelaces. But if you would have a shoe, and the shoelace was not put into the shoe yet, the halacha would be it's also to put the shoelace into the shoe the first time, because of misakin mana. Nothing to do with kosher.
But even new shoes, they put the shoelace in, but they don't lace all the way out.
Right. So if someone bought new shoes, and the shoelaces are in, but they're not stringed all the way up, it may be us to do it. Maybe us to string it all the way up.
How is it misakin mana? I mean, the hole is already there. It usually has one of these plastic.
Correct. Well, misakin mana means because you never had the shoelace and the shoe together. The way you wear the shoe is with the shoelace.
Yeah.
Not the shoelace, you can't wear the shoe. It was never put together in a way that you can wear it. Now you're putting it together.
So that's an extension of the definition of misakin mana. It's not.
Right.
Because you're not creating.
Correct. Even though you're not creating anything. Correct. Even though you're not changing it, not creating anything, just by stringing it, by putting it through, by lacing it, it's already a problem of misakin mana. It's an important halacha to know.
Yeah.
He says, "Besarbel of b'mechasayim chadashim, a shirt or pants, also lahachnishar mitzuos a mishicha, the mavata lehasa making misakin mana." So he says over here that the same thing with a new shirt or a new common more by ladies' dresses. They come with a certain belt. So we'll see our pants with the belt. He says, "Avnei shari lachnisay." So he says over here that you're allowed to put in, you have a new pair of pants, have a new belt, you put the belt into the pants, it's mutter. Why? Because it's not misakin mana. It's not part of the pants. The belt is taken in and out. You wear it for other pants also, therefore it's not misakin mana. But let's say a lady's dress, which happens all the time. They come with a certain belt for the dress. And it was never in before Shabbos. They want to put that belt onto the dress before Shabbos. That's awesome. That's called on Shabbos. That's called misakin mana. It's not kosher. There's no issue of kosher over here. But that is called misakin mana. Because since it was never together, the dress was never fully together. Now you're putting the belt through the loops.
It becomes a one unit.
It becomes a unit, and it's also misakin mana.
So
Now, the truth is, it's very weird that it happens. Most women, before they put on a dress, they have tried it on beforehand with the belt.
yeah, right.
You know, maybe if once you try it on with the belt, they took off the belt, then they put it back in.
Right.
But we're talking about we never try it on with the belt. There's such a situation that happens that to put the belt in on Shabbos is called misakin mana.
So the key is for the first time.
The first time.
So if you give your shoes to a shoemaker, but you take the laces out, and
You have to put them back in on Shabbos.
So even
Correct.
a different shirt, even a
We'll get to the different in a second. We'll get to it. I told you we'll get to it, right?
Trust me.
Yeah, we got to. So now we're talking about the first time you put in any type of belt or string. The first time in a beged, there's a new issa misakin mana, no matter how loose it is. Now there is a shiloh. I mean, every situation will be different. If let's say you have a dress, a lady's dress, which you couldn't wear it without the belt, it's wearable without the belt, and she would wear it without the belt. The belt just adds niceness to it. You want to put it in the first time. I don't know if it's called misakin mana, because you could wear it. It's wearable now, even without the belt. But if it's not wearable without the belt, and you're putting in the belt the first time, it's definitely called misakin mana.
So if there is another belt, not the dress belt, any other belt,
Any
there's
belt
no
you put,
problem.
if it's not, doesn't belong to that dress.
No.
It's like if a lady has a belt that she wears for a few different dresses, it's not misakin mana. Yeah, if they have a belt that they wear for a few different dresses,
Right.
then it's not misakin mana.
But it's like a
It's not part of it. Right. It's like a belt. It's like the belt that says for the mechnasayim.
Yeah.
Same idea. It's a belt you wear with the mechnasayim. You change it, it's not a problem. Sifcha and Yud Ches. Here's a big chumrah here. Sifcha and Yud Ches. You're allowed to put the Ritzuos back in the Mekayma, but Dafka Oysen her Ritzuos. Says the Mishbru here from a Chiddush from the El Yerabah. You're allowed to put the shoelaces back. Once they were put into the shoe before Shabbos, they were taken out, and allowed to put them back. For Dafka Oysen her Ritzuos, those shoelaces. Ava Ritzuah Chadasha, Shalahoyses Sham Metchila, Also, the mikri misakin mana.
This is what
If you take a new pair of shoelaces and you put it into the shoe, it's also because of misakin mana, el yirabo, b'chiddush el yirabo. Because misakin mana means I'm making the shoe. The shoe was made already. There was already a pair of shoelaces in the shoe. So those ripped. So I'm putting in a new pair of shoelaces. So it's called misakin mana again. Why is it called misakin mana again? You fixed the shoe. The shoe was done already. So it broke. So I'm putting in a new pair of shoelaces. So that's called misakin mana again.
So he's really, I mean, the whole basis for this is the Gemara with the pillow and the feathers.
Correct.
And there we say that if the feathers come out, you can put them back in again.
The same ones.
So
that's El Yerab's diuk. The same ones you're allowed to put back in. To put back in different feathers is also.
So that's...
So I've had before, let's say a shoelace breaks, I don't have new shoelaces, I go to another pair of shoes, I take that.
So the same thing, it's also a problem. If you take a different pair of shoelaces from a different pair of shoes, it's not because it's a new shoelace. The misakin mana is not in the shoelace.
For that shoe.
because it's
Right, the misakin mana is in the shoe.
Yeah.
You're putting in a shoelace that was never in this shoe, says the El Yerabah that it's misakin mana and it's also.
Riding a bicycle on Shabbos, I thought the main thing was misakin mana, that if the chain falls off, it's very tempting to put the chain back on, and that would be misakin mana. So comparing it to this,
Who says that?
I'm not sure, I thought that was the main issue about riding a bike.
Not that I know of.
What is the main, what would be the main issue about
The chals. It's not a Shabbos thing. No,
Yeah.
you can't make.
Heard the same thing. That it's easy to fix it up if something goes wrong and you'll do it.
What's that?
We'll fix it.
Hacking is not the same
Okay,
Well, that was second mana, but it's
what's wrong with doing that? What's wrong with putting the chain back on the bike? What's the issue? By cliché, we see you're going to make a knot. So you're not allowed to fix it because you're going to make a knot. But if the chain falls off a bike...
Well, you could argue the minute that the chain falls off, it becomes muktzah, because it no longer has a purpose. And then when you put the chain back on again...
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Isn't it the same as putting a shoelace back into your shoe?
That's what he's asking. That's what he's asking, yeah.
Why?
That's what he's asking. That should be the same thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. And I don't know who... I mean, we don't find that we can make our own gzeros. You're not allowed to ride because it may break. The question is, when do you make the issur of something may break on Shabbos? So you can't use anything because it may break. A bike, the chain breaks easier. Cliché, they asked it. But you can ask everything that may break on Shabbos because it may fix it. I don't know if you can do that.
Well, you see how far you take it. You can't. The thing I remember is you can't ride a horse because you might break a branch while you're riding.
That's Gzeres Chazal. Chazal made certain Gzeres. We have no right to make up our own Gzeres, built on Gzeres of Chazal.
So it doesn't set up a principle.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Shemisakin Klishir is basically Klishir, they said it. Now you want to say with something else which also is easy to break, easy to fix, therefore you can't do it. I don't know if we can make Gzeres on our own. It says the Chiddush of El Yerabah that if the shoelace falls out, you're not allowed to put in even a different shoelace, even though it was used already the other shoelace. It's still also to do it. Chiddush of El Yerabah, Meister Mr. Brewer brings it down. A lot of Achronim have a hard time understanding Pshat in El Yerabah. Why is it a Misakin Mona? Pshat Chak, if you want to be Mekel, you have to ask a rabbi, but it could be that the Stadim Lahakka was Pshat Chak.
So if I made a spare set of shoelaces, I fitted the shoes and I took them out and kept them in.
Yeah, if you do that, yeah. If you have a spare shoelace that you had put into the shoe before Shabbos and took it out, it's not very shchich. Because if someone's shoelace is ripped on Shabbos, according to the Rabbi, he doesn't really have an eitzah. Only to use the same one. To redo it in a way that the other side's longer, or whatever, to use only a few of the holes. But to go ahead and put in a different one, according to the Rabbi, is also. I saw brought down, so I just mentioned this, I saw brought down that it's only a string that you put into the shoe that's meant to stay there. Let's say I'm putting in the shoe something that's temporary, so it's not meant to stay there. It's not called Masakin Mana, because the shoe is not ready yet. I'm going to take this string back out.
So use different color for it. Yeah.
Huh?
if I used a white shoelace and a black shoe or something.
Right, so the example the person bring down is that if you take a colored shoelace into a black shoe, of course they're going to take it out. So therefore it's mutter.
Although these days...
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, I mean, obviously the person
rubber band.
right, obviously the person held that a colored shoelace in a black shoe is funny. I guess some people today think it's nice. But so that's Al Yerabah. It's a chiddush of Al Yerabah that you can't put it back in. Fine. So that's the first part of the Seif. Says the Ramah, Haga, B'dafka sheyuchal lahachziroi b'loi teirich. It's only if you can return it without a tircha. Meaning when you're putting it back in a shoelace, you can put back in easily. Shoelace falls out, you want to put it back in, you can put it in without a tircha, it's mutter. Aval tzarech teirich lezeh aser. But if it's a tircha to put it back in, for example, the strings of the hood, or the strings of the pajama pants, they fall out to get it back in, is a big tircha. No question about it. So you get it through, it's a big tircha. So if it's a tircha to get it back in, it's aser. Why? It says that the chashina and shema yikshar were choshish that maybe you'll end up tying it. And here all the achronim, the Taz and the Magen Avram don't understand the Ramah, because the Ramah says if it's a tircha you can't put it back in because you may end up tying it. But in the Gemara we see that's two separate things. And that's when we come out, we'll see the Magen Avram inside in a second, that it's either or, you don't need both. If you put something in, even though it's easy to put in, but usually you tie it, then it's also to put it in for Shema Yikshar. If you're putting something in, even though you don't tie the ends, but it's hard to get it in, it's a tircha to get it in, that's also also by itself. So you want to put in something through the hood without tying the ends, it's also because of tircha. So no, it's because of tircha. Now what's the issue of tircha? So let's see the Magen Avram over here. Seif Kat and Tess. Tzarech, teirich, it needs a lot of work. Tzarechim. That full on nekev rochav, even if the hole is wide, aser b'mokam sheregilam likshar. It's aser in a place where they usually tie it. The chashina shema yikshar. So that itself is an iser. Now b'mokam shenekev tsar, but it's a very tight hole. Afil b'mokam she'ein regilam likshar aser the tzarech teirach. It's a big teirach to do it. V'cheina b'taisis v'rosh b'hedya b'efsher the Torah Seif hu b'shulchan aruch. Says the Magen Avram, maybe it's a Torah Seif here, v'imkein v'ritzua shalanu v'min olim u'mechnesayim d'regilim likshar b'roisham afila ba'atikin, even the old ones, the innovative ones, asa l'hachnisam because of Shema Yikshar. If you usually tie the ends, it's also because of that, by itself.
But the Ramah is arguing on something different. The Mechaber's whole thing is Masak and Monah. It comes along to Ramah, supposedly to argue with Mechaber, but he's talking about two different things that have nothing to do with Masak and Monah.
What do you mean about two different things?
Well, because he's talking about Shema Yikshar or he's talking about Tircha Sarah.
Okay.
Neither one of those have anything to do with Masak and Monah.
And the Chanami, right? Pashas, that's the way you learn. It's one's that's Tircha and one's Shema Yikshar. And none of them have to do with Masak and Monah and the Chanami. The Taz, if you look at the Taz, the end of Seif Kat and Daled, you see it? Taz, towards the end of Seif Kat and Daled, it says, the Boish La'yeh B'Teirich. See it?
Yeah.
The Boish La'yeh B'Teirich, Lav Mishum Chashasha Miyitaka, he'll stick it in, Ela Mishum Dem Yesh B'Teirich, Havik in Misakein Moneh. Once there's a Teirich to put it in, so now it becomes like a Misakein Moneh. If it came out, now we'll see next week also about Misakein Moneh, it's possible that if something comes out, then it's very hard to put it back in, so it lost the Shem Kli. It's not usable now. When you're putting it back in with a tircha, now it's a Masak and Monah. That will answer your kasha.
Yeah.
It has to do with the mechaber.
Right.
It has to do with the mechaber.
Continue to extend the definition of Masakin Mana.
Masakin Mana, correct. It's another case of Masakin Mana. Masakin Mana is by something that's hard to get back in. The Taz says the Isser is Masakin Mana. So now, strings, any strings that fall out, the only string, the char that we can put in today is a shoelace that was in already before, a belt, but anything else that's hard to get in, it's also to do it because of Masakin Mana. Now the question is really that, let's say the whole string didn't fall out, which happens a lot of times. One side ended in, and the other side is still there. But allowed to pull out the side that fell in on Shabbos. So to string it, the whole thing, refers that's also. I'm not stringing the whole thing. It's still inside.
It's still a tircha to get it over.
It's still inside. Right? Am I allowed to pull it out on Shabbos?
It depends how far it went in. I mean,
To pull it out or to pull it through?
No, to pull through, to get it back out.
Right.
To get it back out on Shabbos. Is that mutter or not? What would you say? Is that mutter or also?
How much of tircha is a tircha?
yeah.
That's the question.
It's a very good question. What's called a tircha?
Right.
You know, we find tircha on Shabbos even for smaller things. And what's the? Where do we see anything about what you could do, what you can't do? We find only.
It's very so.
Yeah, it's very objective. At certain times you have it. The Chazal asks it because of tircha, and at certain times the Chazal don't ask it because of tircha. So I don't have an answer to your question. What's called tircha?
we know about.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can carry a chair up and down 10 times or 100 times on Shabbos out of the new
It's
clothes. It's not tircha.
There's a lot of things that are tirchas that are more than just pulling out a string. So if you learn like the Taz, it's very good. There's not a regular tircha de gashal, it's called tikkun mana.
Right.
So come back according to the Taz for sure. If the string went in and it's not usable the way it is now, and you have to get it back out to make it usable, it's definitely Masakin Mana. It's definitely Masakin Mana. So therefore, if the string falls back in, it's unclear exactly what the guidelines are. Meaning it falls in, it's right there, you're pulling it out, okay, it's easy to get to it. How far in does it have to go that it should become usher for me to pull it back out? I don't have an answer to that.
In the old days, we used to have babies' nappies. Used to be ties instead of these the velcros and stuff.
Right.
So with respect to a kesher of changing a baby's nappy on Shabbos, when you use the cloth instead of using
no, because it was a kesher kayama. You open it.
But no, but the kesher, you're making a real kesher.
You tie it, the bow.
Right.
It's not kesher
tie it with a bow.
No, it's not a bow. I mean,
The double knot.
I'm not so sure, but there's.
Do you remember those days?
We used to use safety pins.
Safety pins. Safety pins. That I remember safety pins.
Yeah.
I don't remember knots.
No, safety pins. You're right.
Safety pins we'll see this soon. Safety pins is a different heter. Safety pins, Moshe was matter to attach something with safety pins.
Because we're coming back to the tircha when we're talking about it, because usually when you want to string it through, if you put a safety pin on one end of the string and feed it through, it's no.
It's very easy, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then it won't be Masakin Mana either. The whole Masakin Mana, according to the Taz, is because of the tircha, it becomes a Masakin Mana.
Right.
But if it's not a tircha at all, then it's mutter. I don't know, the master of the Pesachim Aser, the hoods and the pajamas, the Pesachim Aser. If it falls out. I didn't see what they say if it falls out halfway.
Yeah, what did they say on that?
I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say anything about it.
But it makes sense.
But it's not Masakin Mana.
It's not usable.
Right.
Then it would be Masakin Mana.
But Masakin Mana is only because they're tircha. So if it goes in a little bit, it's not such a tircha to get it out. So it never lost the Shem Kli.
Yeah.
It's right there. So how far does it have to go in order for it to lose its Shem Kli? Then now it's called a tircha, then have to get it back out to become a Masakin Mana. It's not clear. If anybody sees anything in the Pesachim, let me know. I haven't seen the person speaking about how far it goes in to ask to take it out.
It's subjective on who does it.
If you know how to do it, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, but even this Magen Avraham here, it says, big hole, small hole, isn't that a measure maybe of how much?
Yeah, here's a small hole. It's definitely called a small hole.
Okay.
But the Magen Avraham is talking about a small hole and putting it in to begin with. We're saying here, this went in a little bit. So sometimes it's very easy to get it out. So the question is, when does it become called a tircha, that now already becomes asa?
Okay, so I thought maybe how tight the hole is, maybe a measure of the tircha, of whether it's,
Right, so let's say it's a very tight hole, but it goes in a little bit, it's easy to get out. You
Still easy, okay.
Still easy. If it goes in a little further, it's harder to get out. Okay. Okay, Seif Gimel. Yeah, look at the Mishnah over here. Also, he brings down the Magen Avraham that when the Ramah says you need both, we hold you need only one. Either it's a tircha or Shema Yikshay end up tying it. Okay, Seif Gimel. Martina Beis Tzavar, you're allowed to open up the Beis Tzavar mikesher shekashru kaivis she'ena kesher shachal yama. Aval ein peischenois mechadesh lemesaken monahu. So we're talking about over here. Beis Tzavar means that they would close up the
button.
Not the button. Is that a button?
Maybe it was a.
They would close up after they would wash it, and they would return it to you. They would sew down, stitch down the Beis Tzavar, and return it to you that way. And the reason for that was, I saw it down somewhere. I forgot where I saw it. Is because they wanted to show you that it was clean. That no one used it since then. It comes to you closed, then you know after it was clean, it came back to you. No one has worn it since then. But if it comes open, obviously someone tampered with it. Maybe they wore it. So they would close up the Beis Tzavar, they would close up the neck, and they would give it back, and it's mutter. Why? She'einai kesher shachayama. It's not called a kesher shachayama. Aval ein peischenois mechadash the mesaken monahu. When they make shirts, a lot of times, what they did was in those days, I guess, not sure exactly what the Metzius was, but they would sew up the Beis Tzavar, and it was never wearable till you open up the Beis Tzavar. Now it's wearable. That was the Metzius of those shirts.
So today, if you buy a new shirt, you have the pins that.
Yeah. So see, this is only talking about that it wasn't. No, it wasn't a shirt. They would close it up not after the shirt was fully done. Not after the shirt was fully done. That's the catch over here. They would sew up the Beis Tzavar. Not they would make the shirt. Now it's wearable. Okay, now they would sew it up as they're packing it. That's not what happened. As they made the shirt, the Beis Tzavar was never opened up.
So if you buy a shirt and the pocket is sewn together.
Right, so the pocket sewn together, it could be the same thing. Because the pocket sewn together, it was never a pocket.
I mean, it's done afterwards. It's just so it doesn't.
It's done afterwards?
Yeah.
So it's sewn down afterwards. It's not Masakin Mana. We'll see in a second. We'll see in a second. Maybe there is a sheet that holds it is, but Pashta is a shirt that was already a shirt, and now they close it up, is not called Masakin Mana. So let's leave Masakin Mana aside for a second. We'll get back to it in a second. Let's talk about the first part. When it comes back from the kaives, after you wash it, then it's mutter to open it up. Why? She'enai kesher shakayama. That's not called a kesher shakayama. Why not? Why isn't that called a kesher shakayama?
Aren't you tearing here though? Also, because you have to open it up.
But no, it says about tearing. They're not tearing it.
How do you open it up? They sew it up.
Not sewn. I'm sorry, it wasn't sewn. No, I'm sorry, not sewn.
Okay, so
it was tied.
Okay.
They were tied.
Right, so it's not a kesher shakayama.
Right, because you know you're going to open
it was intended to open.
Right, so here we have a big machlokes. Because if you remember in Sif Aleph we learned that what makes something, what institutes a kesher shakayama?
The double knot.
No, not even double knot. One knot. One knot. How long? No, so how long?
Right. So we had 1 day or 7 days.
The Ramah brought down a machlokes, 1 day or 7 days.
Right.
So, but if it's more than 1 day, then you better get into the machlokes. Maybe it's called the kesher shakayama. So what do we have over here? Here it says you give it to the
washer,
to the kaivis. You take it back. It's mutter because it's not a kesher shakayama. Says the Taz, you've gotten hay. Matin Beis Tzavar. Yosef Hevi b'Shem Aram, Shekasa b'Shem HaKolboy, V'zel L'shoynoi, Cholok u'Mechnesayim Shenikshru Yachad, Ein La'atiram b'Shabbos. Pants and shirt that were sewn together, or tied together, V'Shekol Kesher She'ein L'Tiram L'Yoymei, Pater Avalosim. Any kesher you're not going to open that same day is Pater Avalosim. V'Nira Dekan Mairi, Sheregilim L'Hatiroi B'Yoymei. Here it's talking about you get it back from the cleaners, you usually open it up that same day.
So that's interesting because typically, let's say you get it on Friday and you would put it on Shabbos. That's
so 24 hours is fine.
Friday, you say okay.
That's the definition of.
Within 24 hours is fine.
Yeah, but you actually did it when the Kogas actually did.
Maybe the Kogas watched it on Tuesday.
Yeah, but before you know, they're not.
When you get it, it's not the one they watched necessarily.
Well, that's the question.
That's
so,
the question.
When you measure the 24 hours.
Right, when you measure 24 hours. So it's a good question. According to the Taz, you have to have that it's within 24 hours. It's meant to open within 24 hours. Let's say you made a knot that's meant to open within 24 hours, and it happens to be it's 36 hours later. It could still be its mutter, because it's meant to open right away. So according to the Taz also, the Kaibis, he finishes it, he's hoping you're going to pick it up right away. He's not interested in sitting in his store. And you pick it up, you're going to wait right away. So, but according to the Taz, it's a little unclear, because who said I'm going to wear it the same day that I pick it up? Maybe I can put it on tomorrow. So look at the Mishnah Berurah over here. Sivka and Gimel, a very important Mishnah Berurah here. It's probably one of the most important Mishnah Berurahs in the whole Siman over here. It's very, very common today. Sivka Chaf Aleph. She'ena Kesher Shachayama. It's not a Kesher Shachayama. Why? Says the Mishnah Berurah, She'ena also lehiskayim rak ad shekechenu abal bayis lebeisoi. This Kesher is only meant to stay here until the owner will take it and open it up. How long is that? Doesn't say. It could be a month.
Oh.
Then he says, "V'yesh machmirim b'davar," which is the Taz. Elam ken also lahater ba'oisa yom shel hakvisa. It has to be that when they made it, it was meant to open the same day. What's the machlokes here? The first sheet is the levush.
And if the machavas leaves it in the store one day,
maybe it'll be aser. According to Taz, maybe aser. Look at the Sivka Yebei's levush. What's the levush saying over here? What's the machlokes? The Mishnah Berurah brings down two sheetas over here. The first sheet is she'eina aser lehiskayim rak ad shekechenu abal bayis lebeisoi. The second sheet is v'yesh machmirim. It has to be within 24 hours. So what's the first sheet? What does it mean? What does levush mean? That it's not meant to be to lehiskayim to stay till the Baal Bayis takes it to his house. What does it mean? How much time is that? What's the time frame of that? A day? A month? 7 days? What's the levush saying? V'yesh machmirim 24 hours. So what's the first sheet?
More than 24 hours.
More than 24 hours? How much? How do you read those words? So the levush is learning that this has nothing to do with the time frame. This heter of Eish Shachayama is a new type of heter, has no shaykhs to a time frame, how long you're doing it. What's the levush's heter? The Achrein learned the levush from Shlomo Zalman is I think one of the who go to this levush a lot. He's learning the levush is like this, that a kesher, when you tie something, if it's kayama, it's meant to be for a long time. It means because I need the kesher. I'm tying this kesher, for example, you're tying it, you don't want the string to fall out of your pants. So you're tying the kesher because you want the kesher for it. I tie my shoes for a week, whatever, I tie something for a week. You want it to last for a week. You want that kesher to last a certain amount of time. Then you untie it. Then you retie it. Says the levush, this kesher is not a kesher at all. Nothing to do with time. I'm only tying this to keep it together till the balbayis ketzer. After that, it's finished. It's garbage. There's no kesher anymore. I don't care about the kesher anymore. That's the heter over here. The heter over here is this is not really a kesher. This does not go into the category of kesher, and I don't care for how long you're going to do it for.
It's a kesher, but not a kesher
So really a
shachayama.
Siman.
It's not kesher chayama. Yeah, you're doing it. No, you're doing it just to keep it close till the Malbayis gets it. After that, you destroy the kesher. You don't use the kesher. A kesher is something you tie, you untie. So what's called tie? How much? A long period of time, a week, a day. Something that I'm not doing it because I need a kesher. I'm just doing it because I need it to be held together until it gets to a certain point. That's not called the kesher chayama, and it's mutter.
Like a garbage bag.
No, a garbage bag could be different. Yeah, maybe, but it could be different. Here, it's the opposite. Right. Here you're tying it, and it's meant to be reopened. A garbage bag is the opposite.
Yeah.
You're tying it. You said last a garbage bag may be a heter, but it's a different heter. Because there you're tying it, you want it to stay tied forever in the garbage. Right? It's tied, but you don't need the kesher. Here, it's a kesher you need, but it's meant to be opened. I'm just keeping it together till someone gets to it and opens it up. That's a new heter here, which is a very big heter. A lot of our things that we have today is this type of kesher. We'll see now the kesher, maybe it's tefillah, we'll see soon. It's tied together, it's sewn together, it's put together in a way that
it's meant to be reopened.
It's meant to be taken off, and it's just tied now till it gets
temporary.
Temporary till it gets to its place. That's called the kesher eri shachayama, and it's mutter.
Is that kind of like? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm
British.
Exactly. For example, I mean, have a ribbon on a present, like
Correct.
The ribbon is there, it's there.
Correct. The same thing.
It's meant to come off.
Correct. It's meant to come off. Same thing.
Yeah,
it's not meant.
It used to be like bakeries.
Would tie the box.
Right.
And so they usually buy Erev Shabbos, and it's meant to open on Shabbos, not 24 hours. But if you have a box and it's meant to be always holding it together until you get to it, that's the heter de levush. That's called the kesher eri shachayama, and therefore it's mutter. And the place would go with it a lot.
Rav Karel, I guess the grandson of Chazon Ish, he brings down, it's similar, he says, she'osu asiyas kesher noyeg rak bekesher yadon nitem mishamish bechefes kishu kosher mechuber. Masha'inkin bekesher shemonea eshemusha shalabeged.
Same idea.
Right? It's a takus asiyasa kivim gesher asa kodesh shemonea eshemusha.
He says that to explain the levush.
Yeah, he's not explaining the levush.
It's the same idea. This kesher, I don't need the kesher. I'm not using it with the kesher. Right? When you tie your shoes, the kesher is the way you use the shoe.
Right.
Here, it's not the way I use the shirt. It's the opposite. It's tied till I want to use till I want to use the shirt. So that kesher is called the kesher in Shachayama, and it's mutter to undo it on Shabbos. So that's the heter Matir Meset Savar, which comes from the Kovetz. Now we have our ein Paiskin Semicha the Mesakin Manahu. You're now going to open it up Mechadash to Mesakin Manahu, meaning, even though I just told you that this kesher, which is meant only for a period of time to open it up till you use it, but in a case where the shirt is tied, and that's the way you make the shirt, now I have a different issue, Mesakin Manahu. When you're opening it up, it's called Mesakin Manahu. So it's the same type of kesher we're speaking about till now from the Kovetz, right? There's also only a kesher which is meant till you use it. You may not be an issa of matir, may not be an issa of being matir or kesher on Shabbos, but there's a new issa of mesakin moneh.
When it's matter, you is never going to have an idea of to reassemble it at a later stage.
Right, but still it's a mesakin moneh. Now, since it was never opened yet, it's called the mesakin moneh. So that's the Avei Paiskin. It's a Mechadash because of Masakin Moneh. If you look at the Magen Avraham over here, Paiskin for Beser Chayev Chatas Meshamakir Bepatish. If you do open it up, the Chayev Makir Bepatish. Avam Mishum Kareya Ein Chayev. Avam Ken Oisa Manas Litfor. Kareya here you won't be Chayev. Ripping it open, else ripping it, you won't be Chayev. Now says the Ramah Hagar. Afil Kvar Niftach. Even though it's already opened once. Rak Shachazar Umin V'Koshroi Eitafroi. Yachad, the derech she'omnim oisim, is aser. What does that mean? Even though it's already open, but the umin in the store tied it back together again, or you tafra, or you sewed it together, the derech she'omnim oisim, it's aser. And here's the big question: what does he mean? So if you look in the Magen Avram, it says Shechazar Umin v'Kashrei v'Eina Yachal Ha'Tiroi Elam Ken Chaytech Hachutin Aser. You can't open it up unless you cut it. Now it becomes Aser because of Misakin Mana. So here, some Acharim are on the Magen Avram that even though the Umin opened it up already once, so now it's already wearable. But then he retied it, it's still a problem, it's still called Misakin Mana. So according to that, it's not all the Acharim go with. We'll see if the Mishnah Berurah in a second, we'll see if he goes with it. But according to that, it would come out that if an Umin untied it and he retied it, it's still Asaf Misakin Mana.
Yeah.
So if you have a shirt, it's already a shirt, it's done, and then in the packaging they close it up and they seal the Besetzava, the neck. Now, maybe Misakin Mana when you open it up on Shabbos. So let's say Mishnah Berurah here, how he learns. So Mishnah Berurah says over here, Sif Katin Chav Gimel. No, that's the question. Where is it again? 1 second.
You want to sort of Kafet, and the second Mana Google Chayav.
No, but not that one.
No, that's
not that one.
Right.
Yeah, look in the Mishnah Sif Katin Chav Gimel. The Kashroi. B'toiv ash ein yochel atiroi elam ken yachtech achutim or yinatkan v'lechein choshev ata k'psicha mechadash v'asa mishum tikkun mana. So this is going under the Ma, right? Chav Gimel is going under the Ma. Even though it's niftach, but the Uman went ahead and retied it, it's awesome.
So is it just because of the Uman? Because if the Kovetz did actually the same thing, we'd say it's okay to open?
Correct. That's what it says over here. So he says, "Choshev atuk psicha mechadash v'asam shem tikkun mana." So if you have a shlemichas v'ksayish is kashru mashichas v'yichal hatir shar l'kulam masakin, something else.
The parentheses you want to.
Oh, look what it says over here. Sorach la v'svir le'layab shashlemi. You see that?
Yeah.
The svir le'layab shashlemi. The dafker k'shachazar u'umin v'kashroi. The umin himself went ahead and retied it. Asir l'natek. Anybody else who ties it, it's mutter. Why? Vatam after the shekashrei ume b'shas melacha yesh b'zeh mishumaka b'patash k'shechaytchay menatchay achakach tehu gmar melacha. Avashar kshiroi sheniksheru achar shekvar nigmar abeged and shayich b'zeh mishumaka b'patash k'shemenatchay achakach. What's he saying over here? But it means here, even though the Umin was Chazar, the Kaishroi, it's all while he's making the beged. While he's making the beged, he went ahead and he retied it, then it's also as Misakin Mana. But once the beged is finished, he says, and now you want to untie it, and then he tied it, it's not called Misakin Mana. It's not called Misakin Mana. Once it's already done, and now he goes ahead and someone else packages the shirt and ties the collar together, that's not called Misakin Mana. Only while he is making the shirt. That's the way the Mishnah Berurah learns the Ramah.
So he's cholik on the Ramah. He doesn't.
What?
He's cholik on the Ramah. He doesn't believe. He doesn't.
No, he learns the Ramah that way. He learns the Ramah. Okay. Meaning, while the Ummah was making the beged, he retied it. But if after the beged is finished, he says, and now someone ties it, says the Mishnah Berurah, it's not a problem of Misakin Mana. It may be a problem of Kosher if you tie it for a long time. But as Misakin Mana, it's not once the beged is already finished.
But why does it have to come into Misakin Mana? I mean, if it's a Kesher Shalom, he said then it's already a Kesher.
No, but we said that type of cash is meant to open.
So he doesn't go to
It's not a problem of kesher.
Right.
That's the story of this Seif.
Right.
A kesher that's meant only for a certain amount of time is not called a kesher, and you're not open it up.
Right.
Says the Ramah here. Let's just finish up the Ramah. Then we'll get to a lot of interesting shilas of halacha l'maisa. We have a pair of shoes. Even though it's tefira is not shechayama, still it's asr. Why? Cause of mesaken mana. That's the way they made the shoe. The shoe is tied together, and now you have to untie it in order to wear it. The ein chilik with tefira ben shechayama, the ein shechayama tefira is no difference. Some people are matir by tefira. Tefira, you don't have this heter of ein shechayama. That means if you sew something together, you're not allowed to undo it on Shabbos, even though it's only meant for a short period of time. Tefira is awesome. Kesher is the heter of kesher and shechayama. By tefira, by sewing, there's no heter of tefira she'en shel chayama.
Isn't it clear that with shoes, when they make shoes, they first make the shoes and they tie them together?
No, so I guess the way they made it was, when they made the shoes, it was tied together.
That's part of the
part of the process.
Nowadays, sometimes when you buy shoes, there's like a plastic thing that hooks it
right,
together.
so they're supposed to speak about that.
Right.
And they say that anytime you have those plastic things hooking something together, a pair of shoes together, or even socks.
Yeah, socks sometimes too.
Socks, you have it, the plastic piece, right? That's not called masaken mana. Because the sock was already made, it's wearable, and then they went ahead and put it together.
Yeah.
So masaken mana there isn't.
So the pair stays together, and it's designed to just rip it
yeah, but the pair of the shoe was the shoe before they put the plastic there.
Right.
Therefore, you have the heter of, according to the Shulchan Aruch, there's a Magen Avraham, that any time there's a Ramah, that any time it was in the factory, it's called masaken mana, but maybe it would be awesome. But most of the person don't go with that. The Shmuel is not mashma that way. Most of the person don't go with the chumrah of the Shulchan Aruch. They all hold that if it was wearable beforehand and then it was put together, there's no issa masaken mana. You may have an issa of tefira, which we'll get to in a second. You may have an issa of ripping it apart because of tefir. We'll get to that in a second.
Some of the socks at the top, they have apart from that, they have a little stitch.
Right, they have a little stitch together.
Right.
So so we'll get to that in a second. So here, if the uman goes ahead and does a tefira, then it's also to open it up if the uman does the tefira. And there's no chiluk by tefira between chayama and ein shel chayama. Let's see the Magen Avraham over here. We start saying Gideon Aleph. Chazar uman v'kasher v'en yachal atira elam kein mutar achoyt achutim asa. Because of Yam Shel Shlomo, Perek Daled the Beis, Siman Tes. Ochen, HaKesaynesh Neskashru Mashichos. A shirt that happens to be that it got tied by mistake, but Ayuchal Lahatir, it's hard, you can't open it up. Shari L'Kulam L'Natek, you're not going to cut it. So any Asu El Latira B'chol Zman Sheroitza. That tie is meant to open it up whenever you want. So now that you can't untie it, you want to cut it, you're allowed to cut it, you're allowed to open it up. Because they may think that it's always mutter l'natek. Any other kesher not from the umin is mutter to open up on Shabbos. One thing you see over here is that it's a very important halacha. Any kesher that's also to open up, something that's tied together. You're not allowed to undo the tie. Right? The halacha is, you're not allowed to even cut the string further down to undo it. The natkei means to cut it, not by the kesher. So anything that's tied together with a kesher, you're not allowed to open that kesher on Shabbos, you're not allowed to cut the string either. The common mistake that people make. They think, I'm allowed to cut it.
And just take the kesher out as is. The kesher you can take the whole thing out, but you're leaving the kesher intact. So
the kesher is intact, you're not touching the kesher.
But you're saying that's also awesome.
That's also awesome. If you're cutting the string, it's also awesome. Because that string is tied together with kesher shakayama, you're not allowed to open it up on Shabbos. You're not allowed to open up that kesher, the natek, to cut it will also be awesome. You see over here, the only heter is because since it's a kesher, which is meant to open every day, therefore I'm allowed to go ahead and cut it open also.
So you have, let's say, for example, roasts, which are covered with netting and stuff like that, which you cook in the net. So basically on Shabbos you're saying, so you shouldn't cut open the net.
That could be an issue. You want to cut it open,
right.
That could be an issue.
But what if that's the only way you can eat it? Like,
yes, what's the heter to open it up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
What's
it's a kesher. I mean,
it's tied together with a kesher.
But it was
It's meant to be open.
Oh, so what does that mean? What's the heter?
The intention is to
the heter is that we had, if it's not Mesaken Mona,
right.
then it's mutter.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's like the kovis. Anything that's meant to be open. That's why I said the levushas heter is a very important heter.
oh, good thing, because we're going to roast it.
So it comes with that string.
The net,
roast. I remember my sister-in-law, after she got married, she went to the butcher and she bought the roast, and she cut off the string and she cooked it. And she called it the butcher, the whole thing fell apart. So I gave her a new one, came back again the second time. And he says, something's wrong. So what are you doing? He goes, I have to cut it open and I cook it. He says, cooking for the manish tali, you're supposed to leave it. You're supposed to leave it on until you finish cooking it, otherwise it falls apart.
Right.
Yeah, so this heter, Enisha Chayama, is with the lavush, right? This is a good example, right? It's tied together. It's meant to stay tied together. Until you cook it, then you open it up. So what's the heter? It's a Enisha Chayama. You have this heter that anything that's meant to be opened up, but just temporarily there together, it's mutter to open up.
Let's say on Shabbos you have a plastic bag
cutting.
you have in a knot.
Yeah.
You're allowed to rip open the plastic bag to get the knot.
So there's something else. That's something else. You know, if you have a knot which is not meant to be opened on Shabbos, so you have to know if that knot has a shachas to the bottom of the bag. I don't know, a string that's tied together.
It's like one piece. It's
one
all
piece.
part of the knot. So
Yeah. Partially that open the knot, also that open the knot. So that's a knot in the Chesh Shachayama. It's meant to be opened.
Right.
It's meant to be opened.
Even though it's a tircha to do so.
Yeah.
Those knots in the plastic are
Sometimes
a tircha to do.
Right, so if you rip open the side.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's meant to be opened. It's not meant, you have this heter of the levush, all these type of knots, not dafka, because the bags, the bags maybe is worse, because you open it and close it.
Well,
It's meant to open and close, it could be it's worse. The heter of the levush is only naturally open up once and it goes to the garbage. The heter they use by the levush, the heter they use for all types of disposable things. Anything you open up on Shabbos, right? Tefillah Sheish Chayam is also. So band-aids is a big shot. How you open a band-aid on Shabbos? Band-aid is teifer, stuck together. It's done like tefillah. So how you not open them up on Shabbos? You're undoing a tefillah on Shabbos. Paiskim after it. They say, what do you mean? It was meant to stay, and it's a teifer. There's a tzad that doesn't even help any shachayam. So how you not open a band-aid on Shabbos? The heter that uses is this lavush.
Right.
That tefillah was not meant to stay that way. It's meant to be until you use it. And then you take it off and it's finished. You don't use it tefillah anymore.
So the whole it's a Velcro? Because Velcro is a kind of tefillah and you're going to reuse it and reuse it.
So Velcro can be different. So Velcro is a question if it's called teifer or not.
Right.
It's called teifer or not. I remember talking to Yisrael, they had a whole shot with the Pampers.
Yeah,
before the Velcro came out, there was a sticky. Right? After the safety pins, they had the sticky things, right?
Yeah.
So the problem with that is it's meant to stick. It's not like a band-aid. You open it up and you throw it out, right? There you undo it, and it's meant to stick on, off, and on, right? It's meant for that. So there could be a problem. So a person wanted to say you had to open it up before Shabbos. You had to undo it before Shabbos. So now it wasn't Chayam anymore. Now you could do it on Shabbos. The Velcros, they were all matter. I remember that's I don't know what to have now. But remember they had the Velcros. They have today's Velcros also?
I don't know. We're best.
I mean, you haven't used the pamper in a long time. But
Those blankets, come on people.
Velcro.
it's Velcro. So the Velcros they will make for some reason. The Velcros they hold for some reason not called a tefillah. And that's why the Sefer Torah is not the same thing.
Yeah.
The Sefer Torah, the guys of the Sefer Torah is Velcro.
Right.
They say Velcro is not called tefillah. Not sure why, but that's what the Paiskim hold. But if it's a teifer, it'll be awesome. So anything that's tied together from the company, and you're opening it up on Shabbos, you have the heter of the levush. big head of the levush. Otherwise, band-aids, all these type of things that are stuck together. Even Lebens, they speak about, you open it up on Shabbos.
All right, yeah.
Right, it's stuck together. How do you open it on Shabbos? They're stuck together. And Shechal Yom, it's from the factory. It should be a couple of days ago.
I know, we talked about that about Pesach Yofa too. There was a whole other problem for you.
No, Pesach Yofa is not a problem. Because the Pesach is there where you just cover it.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a problem, Pesach Yofa. But Tefillah, opening it up might be a problem.
No, Rav Shlomo Zalman here talks even about when, the yogurts come in these, it's connected plastic, two different...
Right, so that's the problem of Masak Mana.
So he says that Shemut La'apirim Kibsheh Chibur Hagaviyim Nasa Go'efi Shenit La'apirim B'Kalus. So
it's not called Masak Mana, maybe.
Right. He says, yeah,
I know the Asam place in the whole that it's also to take it apart.
Right.
Those leavens, the yogurts that come together before in a pack. Because it's Masak Mana now. It's made that way, and now when you're breaking them apart, so each one by itself, it's Masak Mana. That person did ask for it. That's Masak Mana. Because I was matzah, okay. But that's something else. That's because of Tikkun Mana.
Right.
Opening it up is a problem of Taifi, opening it up on Shabbos. It was a Keshach Hayama. It was meant to be that way. You have this head of the Levush, anything you're opening up, and it wasn't meant to last for a long time, then it was meant to open up to use it, it's mutter. And the big head from this is all the things that come on the suits, the clothing, the tags, and the cleaner's tags, and the price tags, and all these things that come that attached to the beggar on Shabbos. So you forgot to take it off before Shabbos.
Right.
So now what do? Are you allowed to take it off on Shabbos or not? So according to this Levush, a lot of places take it even further and say all those things, the cleaner's things, that's not meant to stay on. So you're allowed to rip it off on Shabbos. It's not called the tefillah. Even the tags you have on the suits, that's sewn down.
Right.
The person that are matzah to cut it off on Shabbos. Why? Because that tefillah is not meant to last. It's meant till you get it, then you take it off. They take the levush even to that to be matzah to open those on Shabbos.
But the second half of tonight, it has to be something you're going to then throw away. It's not something.
Correct. Something you don't use. Of course. Right. These things you don't use. You don't need them. It's meant to be thrown away. If there's any type of thing that you're going to put back on, of course it's also. No shayla about it. These are all things they throw away right away, and the person used this head of the levush, that since it's not meant to stay there as usage, just temporarily, therefore it's mutter.
Pockets of suits.
So pockets of suits is something else. Pockets of suits that was sewn down, that's a tefillah. That's a tefillah.
But it's meant to be
also, maybe the same thing, also it's meant to be open.
But can you wear the suit even if they're closed? Shema.
Yeah, you can. We're not making xeris. We're not making xeris.
We're not trying to make it zero.
Okay, next week in which I'd like to finish this.
We have it.
Daled Hey Vav Zayin, we should be able to finish it. And then we're going to have a little bit of a